Video game film adaptations have been huge in the last few years. Detective Pikachu was a nice little treat despite the creepy freaking Pokemon designs. The Sonic movie exceeded everyone's expectations after the infamous original design, and even got a much better sequel. And the Mario movie took the world by storm and became one of the highest grossing animated films of 2023. Now, this isn't me saying all these films are perfect or anything. I have my own personal qualms with each of them, but they weren't enough to deter my overall enjoyment I had for them. This trend has gotten me thinking of the subject of video game adaptations in general. You may have noticed a good chunk of my videos are about them in some way. Captain N, that weird Mario episode we talked about. Heck, even the Pokemon stuff we cover on here is considered an adaptation of a video game. I've always been fascinated by the subject, but personally, what I always wanted to see over a movie of a video game is a TV show. I was more of a TV guy than a movie guy, so stuff like Pokemon or the Mario Bros. Super Show fascinated me much more. But they aren't as common. Sure, we'll get a new Sonic cartoon here and there, but we haven't had a new Mario cartoon since 1991. And that leads us to the main subject. Video games I'd love to see a cartoon or animated adaptation of. 2D, 3D, anime, stop motion, whatever. We'll be covering the ones I want to see, and maybe we'll do more videos on the topic if I missed any. To preface, I'm mostly sticking with my favorite games, but feel free to give me more ideas in the comments. I can't play everything, and I'd love to see your ideas. And yeah, this list shows off any sort of narrow-minded taste I have. I apologize, I've been really working on trying to expand my horizons. So without further ado, let's adapt! Alright, I obviously know about the Super Show before I get the obvious comments. I literally have a review of an episode on my channel. But that came out in the 80s, when the standards for cartoons were basically, "Hi, here's a toy. Give it 13 episodes!" I'd personally love to see another go at a Mario series with a more creator-driven vision to it. I'd personally love to see a more Sonic Boom take on the series. The show, not the glisty clusterfuck. I feel like it'd really help expand the potential of some of the characters. Plus, the Mario universe has really expanded since Mario World. More characters and more settings means more potential. As for how it would go, I could see multiple ways. If you really want to show off the characters, maybe as some sort of ensemble type series with each episode focusing on a different character. I'm thinking something like the old Looney Tunes shorts. Yeah, you wouldn't have Mario in every episode necessarily, but a lot of Mario characters are almost as iconic as him at this point. Plus, it really helped make the series character driven, and you could really get a bunch of character team-ups. Pairing Waluigi with almost anyone is instant comedic potential. You could also make it an Adventure of the Week type show, sort of like how the Super Show was. You could have Mario, Luigi, Peach, and maybe Toad or even Daisy going to different parts of the Mushroom Kingdom and helping people out. It'd go really well alongside Mario Wonder. I could see a Mario cartoon happening with the success of the Mario movie. I think there's a sequel for it coming soon, or at least coming at some point, so who knows what'll happen afterwards. If Mario's not your cup of tea, but you still want to stick within the Mario universe, that's a weird combo, but yes, you can always go for a WarioWare series. This series feels perfect for it. I played through Get It Together a couple years ago, and not only did I have a blast playing it, I noticed the game felt like a Saturday morning cartoon. Bright and colorful, a fun cast of characters, and tons of cartoony micro games. Heck, the games have these cute little cutscenes that feel like a cartoon episode. Honestly, a lot of my desire to want a series of this is just loving the characters and wanting to see more from them. From Ashley's Angie Gremlin witch aesthetic, to Cricket's kung fu background, to Penny's frickin' banger of a song. As for ideas, I guess a SpongeBob type thing. This kind of game really tends to lend itself to a wacky hijinks kind of thing. Maybe incorporate the various micro games into the show somehow. IDK, I just want to see more of these characters. Personally, I think platformers just make for great cartoons. They have these bright, colorful, and welcoming atmospheres, along with just super cartoony looking characters. There's a lot of good options for this. Banjo-Kazooie and Crash Bandicoot are probably the most obvious if we're talking 3D platformers, but since this is my video, I'm gonna use my personal favorite platformer, A Hat in Time. Indie games getting shows isn't even a new concept. I hear the Cuphead show is pretty good, but A Hat in Time, I mean, just look at this game.
What's up? You working on any contractual obligations lately?
Mafia won't bow to little girl. Prepare to feel Mafia's wrath.
This movie studio is too big for the both of us, DJ. Gross.
You Owl Express birds are just gonna record another boring train-related western. You've done so for the last 10 years, darling.
I already want a weekly adventure series of that. Either that or at least some animated web shorts. This one I'd like to see follow the story of the games. You could get a few seasons out of that, especially if you throw in the DLC. Honestly though, if nothing else, I want a series of shorts of Hat Kid and Mustache Girl being funny rivals. Make them get into over-the-top battles while still acting like kids. That and make Snatcher a reoccurring villain. He's full of personality. That or a short of both Hat Kid and Mustache Girl trolling him Billy and Mandy style, and that's only a slice of ideas I have. The point is, make it happen. We've gone through games that I think would be great for a Western cartoon style, so let's move on to anime. I know I said cartoons in the title, but damn it, I really want to include this one. I've tried a lot more anime games in the past several years, but a lot of them already have their own animes. If you're wondering, Neptunia and Senran Kagura. I find a lot more anime games tend to get their own adaptations, at least the more well-known ones. I didn't even know Danganronpa was a game at first, actually. But for a game I'd love to see as an anime, Fire Emblem. It has an OVA, but...
Oh, but more!
I kind of want another attempt at it, let's just say. Now, Fire Emblem's an interesting case because each game had an entirely different cast, so which one you'd want a series out of really depends on which one's your favorite. Personally, I'm a pretty basic bitch when it comes to this series, so I just want a Three Houses anime. Not even cause, oh, it's the only one I played. I've also played Engage and have Awakening sitting in my 3DS downloads, but honestly, Three Houses just has the most potential to me. I could see it having 3 to 4 seasons based on the different routes you can take. It'd have a much different way of formatting a show than most, but it would give it a unique identity. It'd basically be 3 alternate stories. Maybe make them collide in some grand finale if possible. Also, throw in a Broadway number of this.
Now, creepy, creepy, creepity, creep.
Alright, let's just talk about a Smash Bros. Series since I know people are going to ask where it is in the comments if it wasn't here. It'd probably be the most ambitious idea on this list. Smash Bros. At this point spawns so many franchises, a lot for one show. I could maybe see it being some insane Nintendo anthology series covering a different series in one episode, kind of like that Mario idea I mentioned earlier. It could also be like every freaking Smash Bros. Fanfic or webcomic where the characters are all just living in a mansion for some reason. Seriously, every time I hear this idea, I just think of like Smash Bros. Jersey Shore or something. What I'd love to see personally is just a Captain N reboot that somehow ties into Smash Bros. Captain N Ultimate, let's say. I do bring up a lot of Captain N's missed potential in my review of it, if you want to see that. I'd be the most skeptical here since you need writers who know the ins and outs of each series. A lot of the charm of Smash Bros. Was how in character everyone's moveset is, so any character being off would just feel wrong. I mean, you could have Sakurai do it, as if that guy hasn't done enough already. Who knows? A lot of missed potential, but it needed to be done by the right people. And of course, we have to talk about my all-time favorite game, Kid Icarus Uprising. This game essentially has a very common general consensus around it. The story, writing, characters, and humor are great, but the controls are awkward. I'm sure if you're a fan, you've heard your fair share of not for the left-handed jokes. However, if it were an anime, those problems are immediately eliminated. It sort of has the potential for being both an adaptation of the game while having its own stories within the universe. The game does a fantastic job at creating a great cast of characters with amazing interactions, so the setup's already right there.
Aw, it looks like Little Miss Cactus has a soft spot for Pit.
Really? Because I don't think you're all that bad either.
Shh, keep your voice down. People are listening.
A fun Greek mythology adventure with witty dialogue and fun banter. Yes, I know there's a Percy Jackson show on Disney Plus before you comment. It'd probably be set up kinda like a shonen, action-packed battles with arcs related to the game with fun filler episodes sprinkled in between. Heck, a basis is already set up by Nintendo themselves. There's literally this awesome short released on the 3DS called Palutena's Revolting Dinner that basically looks and acts like how I'd want an Uprising show to be. The series would probably need another game before something like that is even feasible, so make it happen, Nintendo. You already are adapting more things into movies, so Kid Icarus is inevitable way down the pipeline. I will keep my unrealistic goals in check, thank you. Feel free to comment your own ideas and maybe we'll pick this up again. I'm signing off.